Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm finally back. So if you've been here before, you'll know that I have chronic pain, obviously, as well by the name of the channel. I've been away for a long time because, as usual, I've had like weeks of very high pain and very high fatigue. I had some hiccups in my medication as well, trying to get like a prescription on time. It just takes forever to get it filled at a pharmacy. Even though I get it like transferred from my doctors over electronically, it will take days. But anyway. Also, my grandmother was very sick. She had dementia. She was very frail. She was 94? 95? I think 94. Yeah. And she had, did I just say she had dementia? If not, yeah. Unfortunately, her time came to depart this earth, and obviously it's very sad. I had to go up for the well, I didn't have to. I wanted to go up for the funeral. That was like a 3 or 4 hour drive from here. And that's without breaks. So you can imagine how hard that was on my body. But yeah. So yeah, I've been dealing with all that. That's stressful, obviously. But it was great to see a lot of family that I haven't seen either in years or I've never met face to face. I only know them. I know that we're related. We're Facebook friends. But yeah, anyway, I digress. So that's all I've really been up to. And tomorrow, like as in the 8th of November, I shall be in sunny Tenerife, having my first holiday since January 2020 with my friend Sam and Samantha, and it's gonna be great. I haven't had a girls' holiday in years. The last one was like a group holiday with the girls from my university pole dancing club in Spain. And now we're going to Tenerife. So yeah. Anyway, so as you might gather by today's title, this is about my experience. No, not experience. This is about my weight loss journey and how I've lost so much weight. So, you may have seen the before and afters on my social media. If you're friends with me on Facebook, you might have seen it. It's on my Instagram as well. I've shared it a lot, like on my stories as well as my feed. And I hate to say the secret of that. So, because I have chronic pain, which I've had it's really started about 10 years ago actually, with the 2 trapped nerves. You might know the story. It lasted forever, it seemed, like 2 or 3 years, or maybe 4 years by the time I started to get like chiropractic treatment and that. So it kept coming back, blah blah blah. Somehow that pain turns into fibromyalgia. Nobody really knows. If you're not familiar with fibromyalgia, no one really knows the cause of it. There's like some theories. There's usually like a physical trauma, so that could be any type of accident. It can be just regular surgery for something and then you get it. There seems to be a pretty good evidence of a link between childhood trauma too, so I got that in spades. And yeah, that's it. So I couldn't, over the years I've been on a lot of codeine, a lot of opiates in general, and my cravings got out of control. I have very little to no self-control, which I now learn may be an ADHD thing. You can learn about that in a different video, but it's a bit long-winded, so I need to like do a shorter one. But anyway, and then obviously my depression got worse because I eventually became in pain like all day every day, and it was very intense pain. Like when the trapped nerve was happening, most days I had to like either yell for Tom to get me or message him when I was in the bedroom and he was like in the living room and be like, I need you to help me get out of bed, and he'd have to like put his arms all the way around my back and like bear hug me up into a sitting position and then go from there. Some days like even that was too much and I had to just lie in bed for a couple of hours after taking painkillers that he would bring me and wait for the trapped nerves to stop. I like to have less enough pain that it was bearable to function. So yeah, years of not being able to exercise, years of craving terrible foods, depression making me drink a lot, and I guess eat a lot. My sugar craving went through the roof as well. Apparently codeine changes the way your body breaks down glucose. I don't know how true that is. Apparently it's not very well known, so you know, take that with a pinch of salt. But anyway, you know, all this pain, like I had to stop doing like pole dancing and going to the gym and like doing weightlifting I couldn't even do yoga anymore. Could not do Pilates either, which is stuff that I did. And then eventually, over the years as well, over the last 5 or 6 years, I've been confined to using a mobility scooter when I leave the house. Because walking just gives me so much lower back pain especially, and like sometimes a bit of my bum. You know, all those muscles move together. So yeah, I couldn't even just walk a little bit, never mind do any real exercise. So all this combined, I put on a lot of weight. In about 3 or 4 years, I think I put on the bulk of it, and then the pandemic made things worse because I was super lonely. It's just me and Tom mostly, and like friends online. And as great as my friends are online, it's not a complete substitute for face-to-face interactions. So yeah, I've tried lots of diets over the years. I've done keto a couple of times. The second or third time was more successful. I think it was like the third time I did it, I think it was, I switched to what they call lazy keto, which is where you're not quite as strict as normal ketosis. And I was much more successful with that. I did the 5-2 diet. I had some success with it. Hypnotherapy was the first one that was the most successful. But then my friend Sue died of cancer, and I had no idea that her treatment wasn't working and that she was terminal. So that was a real shock to the system. And I drank loads to cope. Oh yeah, when I had my MRI for my back as well, when they were trying to work out what was wrong with me, because the bulk of my pain was in my shoulders, and then my mid-back, and then when I walk in that, in my lower back and bum. This is long before the fibro diagnosis. I was told that they thought I had a mass. They're like, there's something dark on your spine. Do not tell that to somebody with depression and anxiety. They're like, should have just come back, said there was an error, maybe. We need to get you in for a second test. Because like my blood work didn't show cancer. But me being the fatalist that I am sometimes, I was convinced I had it. Then when my friend was struggling having cancer too, and it was like coming back and that, I don't know why, I just got really convinced that I was probably gonna, I just thought my luck is terrible in general in life, always has been. I'm gonna end up with cancer too, and I'm gonna die. So that undid all the weight I'd lost from hypnotherapy. But it did take quite a few months. It was like 6 months to a year before all the weight went back on. What else? I've done intermittent fasting, which is where you just eat in a small like 8-hour window. Like you go 16 hours without eating, including overnight. And then you have whatever food you're going to have in like an 8-hour window. I didn't do too much until I combined it with keto. That was like the more successful. So the most I'd lost before is like 20 to 25 pounds, I think it was, with the hypnotherapy. So I do recommend that. And I think that I tried to go after, like a second time. I think maybe, I don't know why really, but I think I became sort of like not as open to the suggestion that you get from hypnotherapy, because that's how it works. You're not, you're not made to do dumb things. That's just stage hypnotism. Real hypnotherapy is like, they talk about what's going on in your life, what your diet is like, that sort of thing, if you're going for food related issues. And then it's just getting you in a very relaxed state. And then the hypnotherapist suggests to you, you don't need to eat a family share size bar of chocolate every day. That kind of thing, in a very calm, soothing voice. Which is great. Yeah. So I lost about 20 to 25 pounds then. And then recently, I had been reading, I always read like what celebrities are doing about diets. I read that Gemma Collins from this British TV show called The Only Way is Essex is using a weight loss jab called Saxenda. So I was like, that sounds interesting. I look into it. I think it was like ended up being kind of pricey. I like, before the pandemic as well, I was going to my doctors. I was like, look, I've been trying for years to lose weight. It's not getting any better. I'm struggling so much mentally about my weight, as well as like mentally in general. I need to do something. I've tried. They put me on Orlistat once as well. Also called Xenical. There's like many different names for it, and that's the one that makes you poo out any fat basically. And someone with IBS obviously that. Okay, so I logged into my account. I started this back in the end of April. The 30th was the date I did. I think they confirmed the consultation and sent it to me. So the real diet started, weight loss started, let's say 1st of May. Up till now, the 7th of November, I've lost 3.5 stone, which is about 49-50 pounds. Changed my life. My self-esteem is going up. It's positively affecting my relationship with Tom. I'm gonna go on holiday. I went shopping for clothes. I got into sizes I haven't seen on my body since like 2018. I'm a clothes size 16 on top and 18 on bottom. That's UK sizes, obviously, because I'm English. And before, at my heaviest, I was creeping up to around size 24, size 22. So that's a lot of clothes sizes, obviously. So they go up in 2s in the UK. So it's like, let's see, 22, let's say, 20, 18, and now 16, so like 3-4 sizes. I'd say it's probably 4 sizes, because it's the bottom is always, I've always been slightly more bottom heavy than top heavy. My bra size hasn't changed at the moment, which is interesting. I mean, it's definitely gone down here at the front, but like my rib cage and my back is still just as wide. So yeah, that's weird. Yeah, so the prices started for me at this clinic. I think it's roughly the same price as well in like the supermarkets and that's something we noticed. So it starts at £144.40 for the lowest dose. I think that was including delivery. So there's a small delivery charge. It's definitely less than a £5, like £5. And then on the highest dose is £159.89, and you get 4 weeks worth of it. So yeah, it's not cheap. So now let me tell you what Ozempic does. So this is a brand name for semaglutide, which is used to manage type 2 diabetes or to reduce the risk of future cardiovascular events in people with type 2 diabetes. So I was just on the cusp, or maybe right into the type 2 diabetes territory. It mimics the action of something called GLP-1. I will put that at the bottom, or probably on the side actually. Receptor. Oh no, wait, I read the wrong bit. Yeah, a naturally occurring hormone that helps to regulate blood sugar levels, or blood glucose levels. By binding to and activating the GLP-1 receptor, it stimulates insulin secretion. So I'm sure you probably know what insulin does. And you give it to people with type 2 diabetes to help manage their blood sugar. And it lowers the glucagon secretion when blood glucose levels are high. It also causes a slowdown in how fast the stomach empties, so you stay feeling full for longer. So I do feel a lot fuller for longer. I got down to like 1 meal a day. As at first, when I first started in May, I was doing 1 keto meal a day. I don't know how long I stayed on keto. It was like, because I've been doing it kind of since this end of December, early January, and I was like slowly losing weight. I think that's when I started keto. Yeah, I'm sure that's when I started keto. So it was like, you know, end of Christmas, like after Christmas, January time. And the weight loss was very slow. And like keto is supposed to, everyone else who does keto drops a lot of weight quickly, and I was like impatient, which is why I went on to this. Yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, so that's what I was doing. And then when I was on, like, the different doses are like, it starts on, you know, a starter dose to get you used to it. And let me get the dose. Yeah, so it starts off 0.25 milligrams. And then it goes up to 0.5. And then 1.0 is where you maintain. You basically have to take this for the rest of your life, but like, because Ozempic, there's currently a global shortage, so I've been like I've gone right back down to the first dose again with the larger pen to make it last longer until they get more stock in, or until there's a better option, which I'll go into later. So my stomach itself has shrunk, so even though I'm on the low dose, I'm eating very little now. So when I stopped doing keto, at one point I was just eating 2 small meals a day. I mean small, like just 1 little sandwich, like 2 slices of bread, not that much filling, and that was it. I would be pretty much full. Maybe I'd have like 1 more piece of bread later, stuff like that. And then obviously a cheat meal on Saturday when Tom has his. And then now my appetite's gone up a tiny bit more, so I'm back to like 2 small meals a day. When I started the 1 milligram and my appetite was really diminished, I was having like, you know, like tinned macaroni cheese, like half a tin, 2 slices of bread, a toast, and that was my whole meal for the day. Most days I wouldn't eat more than that because I had no appetite. It was hard even to stay hydrated, even as we had like a really hot summer this year for England. It was hard to stay hydrated because my stomach was so full. It was hard to get down enough liquid to, you know, be hydrated enough. So it really, really works. Which is, I guess, why there's a global shortage, because everybody realizes that you can get it some places off-label, because it's licensed by something called the MHRA as off-label for weight loss. The one Saxenda, which is liraglutide, and the daily injection, the one I have is weekly, that is specifically for weight loss. But I was like, why would you inject daily when you can inject once a week? The Saxenda as well starts at like 6 milligrams and goes to 1 milligram. So now I'm back onto like maybe like 1 big, like for me and my small stomach now, big meal a day, or 2 small meals. Like a couple hours after I wake up, and then around 8-9 p.m. and that's all I'll eat. Maybe like the odd little sweet here and there, but not really. And when I'm at home as well, like if I want a bottle of cider, like, you know, standard 500ml bottles, that will last me all night, like 4 or 5 hours. Whereas before I could knock back drinks like a fish. Like I built up quite a good tolerance, so it's gonna be hard to drink much on this holiday, which is not bad. It's gonna save money because we're only doing half board Yeah. So, what else? So yeah, I'm obviously super happy with the weight I've lost. I'm not eating anywhere near the amount of chocolate and sugar and stuff that I was eating before. So my blood sugar is all the way down too, which is great. So I guess I'm technically not type 2 but diabetic or pre-diabetic anymore. But if I was to stop this long term and started eating like I used to, then I'd probably get back there again because my pancreas has already taken a hit. Is it pancreas? I know this, but like when you have to do videos, kind of like, do I know? Don't I know? Yeah. So anyway, the other options are there's something called Ribelsus you can get in the UK. Some of these, it's hard to get it on the NHS because, you know, the NHS has a limited amount of money. And, you know, they make you do like all this shit ton of stuff that you have to do to get surgery. You have to talk to a dietitian, you have to go to Weight Watchers, which I did do Weight Watchers as well, by the way, twice. The meals were fine, but I just didn't see any real weight loss. It's so hard for me to lose weight when I'm not exercising because I'm so still as well with my pain. And when I was on antidepressants, I was super tired and foggy. Now I'm like moving around more than I used to. So I'm burning a little more calories than I did before, but not significant enough for weight loss really. So yeah. Yeah, they make you jump through all these hoops and then they might give it to you, but it depends where you live because we know if you're in the UK, you know, there's a postcode lottery for services. Some cities get more money than others for certain things and all that kind of crap. Which is why, for me, I was able to go private for a while. Okay, so the other types. There's there's one called semaglutide. Yeah, 2 types, semaglutide and liraglutide. There's one called Ribelsus, which I'll write at the bottom, which is a once daily tablet filled with semaglutide. Oh, obviously this is not medical advice. I'm not telling you what to do or what to try. This is just my experience. You might think it sounds good and you want to do this, but talk to your doctor, do proper research on it. Don't just like listen to one idiot on YouTube and be like, it worked for her, it's going to work for me. There's many positives and negatives to doing this. So you have to take that into consideration. And then, so that's semaglutide tablets. I'm on semaglutide injections, called Ozempic. And there's one that's not licensed in the UK yet, but they think it's going to come very soon. The highest dose I can get on semaglutide is 1 milligram of the Ozempic, and the Wegovy goes up to 2.4 milligrams. I might not need to go that high, so I don't know yet, but it's not yet available. It's taken its time for some unknown reason. Like, you know, getting people to a healthier weight would save the NHS so much money. Like, the amount of money that's spent on even weight loss surgery, it would work out cheaper than, you know, treating people, this is what I've read, like, you know, for hypertension or heart attacks and all that kind of stuff. And even diabetes medication, that, you know, all adds up if it's like over, you know, 50 years of your life or whatever. It depends how long you struggle with your weight and that. So yeah, it's been worth it for me. The Saxenda's once a day. Yeah, I said that. There's like other ones as well. There's one called like Trulicity. I know it depends where you live what you can get. There's different ones in different countries too. I know they have these in America and they have them in Australia. Elsewhere, I don't know. Yeah, so I can include some links if you want to read more. There's like good links about like what the difference is. So if you want to look at semaglutide versus Ozempic specifically, you can easily just Google it, but I'm happy to add links. But yeah, unfortunately there is a global shortage of Ozempic at the moment. Alright, so the upsides of Ozempic. So yeah, it may be given to reduce the future risk of cardiovascular events like heart attacks, strokes, in people with type 2 diabetes who also have heart disease. It's effective at reducing blood glucose levels and reduces body weight. You do it once a week on the same day each week, and my day was Wednesday. And then it's in 3 different weights, 3 different strengths, 0.5, 1.1 milligram and 2 milligrams. That's interesting. I guess it depends maybe where you get it from, because the clinic I used did not have, it started at 0.25. I went to 1 milligram only, like I said earlier. And it helps people with type 2 diabetes reach their blood sugar goal. The dosage apparently doesn't need to be adjusted if you have kidney or liver disease, which is handy. The downsides. Here you go. If you are between 18 and 16, take no other medication, have no other medical conditions, side effects you are more likely to experience is hypoglycemia, which is low blood sugar levels, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, abdominal pain, and constipation. Obviously serious side effects, so that's why you need to take it seriously and do your own research, as well as talk to a medical professional. I think I might have had a touch of nausea with it sometimes, but not that bad. So this is injected as well, subcutaneously, under the skin, and it's pretty easy to do yourself. If I, a baked potato, can do it, you can do it too. I do mine in my thighs. I alternate which one and then record where I do it, the date I do it and the dose I take, and that. It does not take the place of insulin, and it is not effective in people with type 1 diabetes, or if you have something called diabetic ketoacidosis. I don't really know what that is. It sounds bad, so if you're interested in that, I'm sure you can look it up. I'm sure I'll look it up later. Alright, in animal studies, it is reported that thyroid C cell tumours in rats given semaglutide. Oh, so rats who are given semaglutide end up with thyroid C cell tumours. But just because something happens in an animal, like a rat, does not mean it's going to happen in a human. We're not the same creatures. As you know, probably, our closest animal counterpart are monkeys. There was one other, I think it was jellyfish. It was something really weird that we share like 70% of our DNA with. But anyway, let's not go down that rabbit hole. So yeah, just because it happens in animals doesn't mean it'll happen in humans. We're not the same. You shouldn't use it if you have a history of thyroid cancer, or if you have multiple endocrine neoplasia syndrome type 2. Don't know what that is either, but I will look it up later. It can increase the risk of pancreatitis. If this occurs, you discontinue it and do not restart it. There have also been reports of kidney damage. Anaphylaxis and angioedema have also been reported. So anaphylaxis is when you have an allergic reaction, like your throat closes up and all that kind of nastiness. So the initial administration of Ozempic should preferably be done in a medical facility. I didn't, because the doctor didn't say that, but maybe if you have certain allergies already or heart issues and that, I think angioedema is to do with the heart, then maybe that's what they would recommend. It's not been adequately studied in pregnant women and should not be used unless the perceived benefits outweigh the risk of uncontrolled diabetes, which is stuff like preeclampsia, what's called a spontaneous abortion, and preterm deliveries. If you have conditions like heart disease, general liver or kidney disease, diabetes, and seizures as well, you're at more, or people take other medications are at more risk of developing a wider range of side effects, and there's like a lot more. So, obviously, as I said several times, research it thoroughly before you think about taking it. Speak to your general practitioner, especially if you are sick and have even pain conditions, to make sure it's not going to interact with your medication or make your body react in a bad way to the Ozempic or whatever you choose to try and take. There's like, you know, other stuff they say about there's other stuff as well. Report if you have any symptoms of possible thyroid tumours, like a lump in the neck, shortness of breath, difficulty swallowing, or persistent hoarseness. I know my voice is a little huskier lately, but it's not to do with that. I know what the cause is, it's not this. Obviously, if you experience any real troubling symptoms as well, contact a GP, or in the UK you could talk to a pharmacist. They got 111, which is the non-emergency services call number. You could talk to like a pharmacist in Boots or whatever your local chemist is, and they can advise you what to do, or if you need to go elsewhere for like hospital or something. Ozempic may temporarily worsen diabetic retinopathy, an eye condition. So if you have a change in your vision, you know, talk to your doctor as well. I think it's kind of obvious, but it doesn't hurt to say. It says if you're a woman, use adequate contraception to ensure you do not become pregnant while taking Ozempic. For a planned pregnancy, you have to discontinue it for at least 2 months before conception. And you have to tell your doctor if you inadvertently become pregnant while taking Ozempic. Well, my contraception has been great for years and I don't plan to have kids, so it's not been a problem, but touch wood it doesn't become a problem in the future. Right, so response and effectiveness. The treatment with Ozempic 1 mg subcutaneously reduced blood glucose levels by 22% when fasting, 36% 2 hours after eating a meal, and by 22% over 24 hours. So it sounds like you get a better result if you eat with it. Insulin secretion typically occurs in 2 phases following a meal, and Ozempic increased both first and second phase insulin secretion. After Ozempic administration, the insulin secretion rate in people with type 2 diabetes was similar to that of healthy people. There's medication it can interact with. One to be aware of is antidepressants. There's a lot of people these days with antidepressants. They say specifically tricyclic. Oh, interesting. It says like nortriptyline, which is what I'm on, but I don't take it for depression. Amitriptyline, which I was on before, and monoamine oxidase inhibitors, or MAOIs. Which have names I'm not going to try and pronounce, but yeah, if you're on them, be extra careful and obviously talk to your primary care physician. Antipsychotics as well, anticonvulsants, beta blockers, corticosteroids like prednisone and cortisone, HIV medication if you take diuretics, other hormones that like hydroxyprogesterone, other medications that affect blood sugar levels like metformin as well. It may also enhance the toxic effects of alcohol, causing flushing. Have I noticed that? I don't think I've had any side effects there. Maybe once I felt like a little bit flushed in the face, like my face might have been a bit hotter. I'm trying to remember. Definitely not the last time I drank more than 1 drink. Oh yeah. So, Ozempic causes a delay in gastric emptying. It may impact the absorption of any medication taken orally. However, in clinical trials, this does not appear to change the effects of other medications not taken orally. So, it's a lot to digest, a lot to know. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me on Instagram. The link is included below and at the end of this video. I'm happy to talk, and if you've got anything negative to say, like I'm lazy and I should exercise or something, don't bother. That's it for now. I'm gonna go quickly edit this and hopefully get it online, and I'm basically finished packing. I need to eat, and then it's holiday time. Yay! Anyway.